All right. Happy Thursday. It's Master Flame and Master Kowalczik. I'm Master Flame, Jason Flame from Moorpark, California, representing Moorpark Karate and Krav Maga. And sponsored by Raptor Extreme Karate, we have Mr. Kevin Kowalczik, Littleton, Colorado,
What's up, guys?
Revolution Martial Arts. Here we are, guys. It's Thursday. We asked you for your thoughts, and here we are. We have a topic today, leveraging your mental and emotional strength to overcome adversity. This is a great
Oh, boom.
topic. We're happy to have some suggestions on the topics, guys, because, Mr. K and I love to chit chat and catch up and talk online. But what we really love to do is talk about the topics that you want to hear us talk
Yes.
about. So please drop any questions, comments in the chat box. And if you're watching it on the replay, you can always drop comments and we can catch it later. So we got a couple people watching today. Let us know who's out there watching. So, Mr. K, what's going on? How's your week
Hey,
going so
man.
far?
It's been a pretty awesome week. I can't lie. It's been pretty
Yeah.
good. Yeah. School's doing good. We got belt testing tonight. So that's exciting. That's one of the things that we've been talking about is mental strength going into belt testing. Having the confidence, right? We had leadership class the other day. Kind of ties a little bit into what we were talking about a little bit, but we were talking about the different skills of a leader, the different attributes. We were going over different things that a good leader should have. And one of the ones we talked about was courage, right? And one of my black belts raised his hand and I said, "What is courage?" And he said, "Courage is not being scared to do something." And I said, "Wrong." I said, "I believe courage is having fear and doing it anyway, having fear, but overcoming the fear," right? So it kind of ties to what we're talking about today is leveraging mental and emotional strength. I think it takes a lot of courage and a lot of bravery to face things that we struggle with in life, right? Like we all have our struggles. We talked about that a little bit last week, but
Right.
martial arts will give you mental strength, will give you the physical strength and the mental strength and the emotional strength to overcome challenges. I mean, everything in martial arts is tough, right? Like your first belt test in karate, we got testing, people are nervous their first belt test. I mean, people are nervous every belt test, right? But that's how martial arts builds confidence in you, right? And then, breaking a board for the first time, that's scary. We talked about, I had a fight a few weeks back. That's terrifying. Even though it's fun being out there, it's scary to make that walk, to stand across the pit or the ring from some other man who's trying to kill you, right? Like it's a little bit nerve wracking, right? But
That's right.
but it gives you a mental strength to overcome those challenges. And then our topic today is leveraging. Somebody wrote in and said leveraging that mental strength. I think it's important to be able to take that stuff that you learn in the martial arts and apply it to regular life stuff. Right?
100%, 100%. And hey, guys, some of you just now joining us again, Jason Flame and Kevin Kowalczik here, talking about leveraging your mental and emotional strength. If you have any comments or questions, please post those in the comments. We had a bunch of people click joining right now, and I want to thank. I believe it was Anissa that suggested this topic. Yes,
Great topic.
and like you said last week, we talked a lot about our struggles in and out of the ring. But now taking what we learn in the martial arts, because listen, I don't care if you're 3 years old or you're 55 years old, jumping out on the karate mat is, I mean, I give people a lot of credit for stepping out there. The 3 year olds, because gosh, they're scared to death, not used to that structure, not used to the instructors, not used to all the loud noises. It's
All
like
new
everything
setting.
is
Yeah.
new. And on the flip side, you have someone who might be 50s, 60s, 70s professionals that maybe, really high up in their field, right? And then they have to humble themselves to step out on the mat. And
Exactly.
regardless, the mental focus that we learn on the mat mental focus can be applied whether you're at school, whether you're playing other sports, when you're at your job. How about your mental focus with your family, right? You got all these
Yeah.
stresses going on in your life, and you got your family, and you got to make sure that you're giving your family your focus and your attention. I know that I struggle with this because I'm on my phone. I'm trying to prepare for the next test, the next project, the next day, looking at my calendar, trying to get my reading in. But how about that mental focus to spend that time with your family? And again, the emotional strength, right? Think about sparring, think about grappling, think about any of the combat, like you were saying, the fighting, right? People don't realize and understand how much emotional stress goes into, preparing for a professional fight, but let alone just getting out there and having someone that wants to hit you in the
Yeah.
face.
Yeah.
There's some feelings going on inside your body that, for children, sometimes this is a struggle, this is a challenge. How do I hit my friend in the face and still be friends,
Right.
right? How do I deal
Yeah,
with that?
and there's different levels of it too. Like even if you're just a green belt, and you're learning to point spar and you're not even hitting hard and you have gear on and you're in a safe controlled setting and you're with your
Mhm.
friend, like you said, and you're in the karate school on the mat and it's controlled, right? Like even that is scary, right? But martial arts, I think it really does. It builds this mental and emotional strength that we have to learn to take and apply off the mat. And I
Mhm.
think through doing those challenges, doing those things like we learn in martial arts, it really does help us off the mat. I can
Mhm.
always tell when somebody's a martial artist and they've trained. They carry themselves a little different. They have a little bit different focus. A little bit of
Mhm.
confidence and swag to them. One thing I always tell my black belts is remember how hard your black belt test was. Remember how you had to push yourself, how you had to challenge yourself. If you could get through that, you can get through anything, right?
Mhm.
So when life kind of isn't fair and isn't easy, which we all know it's not, and it kind of comes around and sucker punches you in the face, and you didn't
Mhm.
expect something to happen the way it happened, and it kind of turn your world upside down a little bit. That's where you have to tap into that emotional strength. That's where you have to tap into that, like, I got through that, I can get through this, where
Mhm.
some people don't have that. They don't challenge themselves enough. In regular life, they don't challenge themselves in the day-to-day life. They just live in their comfort zone. So then when all of a sudden life hits, they panic and
Mhm.
they don't know how to get through it. Right.
Right, right. Well, and last week we talked about, instructors facing the battles that we're facing in our lives as we come into the school to get ready to teach class. We walk in the door, we snap our belt, and kind of everything goes away. Well, can we take that emotional strength and that mental strength with us to school? Maybe you're really struggling with something. Maybe you just got cut from the baseball team, and now you got to go to class, and you got to see all your classmates. You got that social pressure that's really hard. How do we battle that? How do we tackle that? How do we go to work after, maybe we just had a fight with our spouse, and how are we supposed to be productive at work? The same way we walk into the karate school and snap our belt. It's like we have to be able to sometimes separate the different compartments of our life to be able to be successful in each area. And at the end of the day, it comes down to being able to balance those, right?
Yeah.
Balance and manage those.
Yeah, exactly. And I like one of my philosophies. I had a good mentor told me one time, life's about counterbalance, and I love
Hmm.
that. And I actually
I
heard,
knew you were going to talk about it.
yeah, and I actually heard my chat talking about that a little bit too when he was on here. I believe with you was counterbalance. What so so, we try to live in this world where everything has to be perfectly balanced all the time. We have to balance work and school, and we have to balance, home life and family and sports, and like it's not realistic, right? Like you're not realistically going to always be able to balance everything, right? It's about counterbalance. If you watch somebody walking on a tightrope, they're constantly leaning to kind of catch their balance and counterbalance. So there's times where like work has to be a little bit more important. There's times where I have to really focus on this. And there's times where I have to focus more on my kids and my family. And like I can let these things slide a little bit. And you have to kind of learn what's the priority in the time, right? But I think one thing that tends to lead us to a point where we're just emotionally exhausted. And could be kids in school. This could be kids dealing with sports. This could be adults in their work life. Is we tend to make little things big things. We tend to,
Hmm.
we look at something that's small, like, oh, I have to drive my kid to karate today.
Hmm.
And it's your perception, right? It's you're overwhelmed and you think it's so big of a deal, but really at the end of the day, like, is your child laying in a hospital bed and just got told that they have only a couple days to live? No. Like put your stuff in perspective. Like you don't have to take your kid to karate. You get to take them to martial arts. You get to watch them excel at something. You get to sit there and invest time into your child and watch them grow and thrive, right? Like I think sometimes we don't have that balance and we don't have that perspective. Learning like,
Hmm.
hey, it's okay. Like sometimes things are going to be out of balance. We can counterbalance and we can bring it back. And keeping things in perspective, I think, is important too. It gives you the emotional strength and capacity to say, you know, it's okay. Like, it's not
Mhm.
the end of the world. Like, what I'm dealing with right now, it's not the end of the world. Tomorrow the
Mhm.
sun's going to come up. I'm going to be good, you know? It's just a different mentality. So, what do you think?
Yeah.
Do you have any tips for students that are watching? You know, there might be some kids that are watching or parents that are watching that maybe, like our topic today, is having the mental and emotional strength, right? How to leverage that and use that off the mat, or how to use mental and emotional strength in your day-to-day life. Do you have any tips as to how people can do that?
Yeah, I mean, one of the main things that I think about, and we just talked about it, board breaking, sparring, being in a self defense situation, trying to remind ourselves of a situation where we were at a complete disadvantage and we were able to overcome,
Power through it.
right?
Yeah.
Because we didn't give up, because we really had no choice. We had to push ourselves through it, right?
Right.
I always, whenever I feel like I'm struggling, I try to remind myself of a win, right? Every time I feel like I'm losing, I got to remind myself of a win
Yeah.
so that I can learn from that loss and move forward, right? I
Yeah.
think that when we dwell on the negative and we dwell on the loss and we dwell on the struggle, we get deeper and deeper and deeper. And when we start to focus on the positive and the win and the why we're moving forward, I think that that helps. And I actually posted something. I pulled it up. I posted that I read a book the other day. I think that you saw that I posted this book. And,
Yeah.
and and the name of the book, I'll beep it out, but the name of the book is The Subtle Art of Not Giving a Blank,
Beep.
right?
Yeah.
Beep. Here's a
Heard it
passage
so
that
long.
really hit me, guys, and I posted it, so you can go check it out. But um, confronting the reality of our own mortality is important because it obliterates all the bad, fragile, superficial values in our life. While most people whittle their days chasing another buck, or a little more fame and attention, or a little bit more assurance that they're right or loved, death confronts us all with a far more painful and important question: what is your legacy? How will the world be different and better when you're gone? What mark will you have made? What influence will you have caused? They say that a butterfly flapping its wings in Africa can cause a hurricane in Florida. Well, what hurricanes will you leave in your wake? As one of the authors pointed out, this is arguably the only true important question in our life, yet we avoid thinking about it. One, because it's hard. Two, because it's scary. And three, because we have no clue what we're doing sometimes. And when we avoid this question, we let trivial and hateful values hijack our brains and take control of our desires. I
Love
mean,
that.
it's because you were just saying, like sometimes we got to let things go, right? And not,
Yeah.
like I said, not dwell on that negative and that bad. Hey, we have someone watching live. It's Ice Wallow Come. I'm not sure the name, but it says, "Can I ask a question via YouTube?" And you can absolutely ask a question via YouTube. Keep it clean and keep it short, and we'll answer. We got a couple minutes left, and still several people here watching. If you guys have questions, please drop them. But yeah, what do you think of that passage? Did that kind of hit you pretty deep? Yeah.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. Two things that kind of came to my mind is one is about confidence. You know, having the confidence and remembering the confidence of the things that you've gotten through will help you get through the next thing.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Lee has a quote where he talks about what is confidence. He says it's just a memory of winning. It's just a memory of winning. That's all confidence is, right? So if you're not confident as a person, you don't have self confidence. You need to start
Mm-hmm.
racking up little wins in your life. You know, and it doesn't have to be huge goals. Little wins, like I made sure I made my bed today. I went to the gym today. I exercised. I did at least 30 minutes of exercise. Like, get little wins, rack up little wins. And the brain doesn't understand the difference between a big win and a little win. It just knows you're winning. It just knows you did it. You set your mind to something and you did it. You were a man of your
Mm-hmm.
word or a person of your word, and you did what you said you were going to do, and you didn't create excuses. Those little habits create a confident mindset, which then gives you mental and emotional strength, right? As you can face more challenges in life. The other thing is, I always tell my students, my black belts, I talk about this all the time, is, hey, what's up, Miss Jackie? How are you? She said I'm her favorite person. Did you read that right?
No, no, no. She said two
Oh,
of my favorite.
she meant
I
me.
might have a little bit. I might have a little bit. More than. Go ahead.
Um, but no, I was just gonna say that, it's one thing I always tell my students and stuff is, at the end of my day, at the end of my life, when I'm dead and gone, who's going to say at my funeral, that person, that guy made a difference? That guy mattered. What he taught me in martial arts, or the friend he was to me, or how he helped me that time. Like, what kind of legacy are you going to leave? That's so incredibly important. And we can we
Hmm.
can let the stresses of the day to day of life bog us down. We can have a victim mindset. We can worry about things all the time. We can stress about things that are out of our control, to be quite honest. Or
Hmm.
we can focus on the positive outcomes, and we can focus on trying to, you know, help others and give back. And I think the more that we focus on giving to others and doing for others too, it also helps build our own mental and emotional strength, right? Because we're so less focused on ourselves, what we're
Hmm.
getting and what we're dealing with, and we're giving, right? And I think that when you give, you get it back tenfold. So that's another good tip, I think, for people that are trying to leverage mental and emotional strength, focusing more on what you can do for others than your own stuff, right?
Love it. Well, guys, listen, sometimes when we're having these Thursday thoughts, you're literally hearing us. We don't plan these conversations. We don't usually plan out the topic at all. We're just kind of shooting from the hip here and talking with you guys and being real. So we want to hear your thoughts. If you're watching, what are your thoughts on what we're talking about? I know that sometimes, again, we get a little off topic and we ramble on a little bit, but we're here for you guys. We want to hear what you have to say, what you want to know every week. We just want to talk to our students. We want to talk to you guys. We want to talk to our instructors, our families. Um, you know, it's a great way for us to bring our minds together and talk about these topics each week.
It might be kind of cool. Let's see if people are interested. You guys comment below, but next week let's do a live Q&A. Let's get some students and some people to join in, maybe, and
Hmm.
have them shoot off some questions. That might be kind of a
We can
fun
do
one.
that for sure. We
Yeah.
can absolutely
All
do
right.
a,
So you
a,
guys
a
are
live
awesome.
Q&A.
Next Thursday. Let's go. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh, watch out. Jackie says, any plans for a Revolution mini convention? You know how many times I think about this? I think that what we need to have is we need to have a Raptor certification course held in Moorpark, California, so that all the schools here in California can come and train with you and learn from you, see what the Raptor curriculum is all about. Maybe I know you're going out this weekend. You're going out to Mike Guido's school out in Fresno, right?
Yes, sir.
And he's one of our newest Raptor Extreme licensed schools.
Yep.
And we'd love to get more people in that Raptor revolution. So I think that's a great idea. I know that my instructors would love it, our students would love it. There's a lot of schools in the area that would benefit from it, and who knows, maybe we'll get some people from coming from all over the country. Then we got to have one in Littleton. We got to have one. We got to go to Guatemala. We got to
Let's
go
do it.
have one with
Yeah.
Edgar's school.
Yeah. He's
So I
actually
I
doing
see it.
a couple seminars in Mexico. He's promoting Raptor this weekend. He's going to be out working with a couple schools this weekend down there. So let's do it. Let's set it up this fall. California training certification course. We'll get it rocking and rolling.
That would be awesome. And guys, for my students here in Moorpark, Mr. K is going to be here this weekend. We are doing a demo team only. This will be exclusive and only for our demo team this Sunday at 9 a.m. We're going to do about an hour, maybe an hour, 90 minutes with just the demo team. We got a bunch of demos coming up. I want you to see what they've been doing, how hard they've been working. The instructors are putting a lot of time in. Probably have 4 or 5 demos set up, tournament coming up. So a lot on the line here. So want to get your feedback and get a chance to have you work with the students.
I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be an awesome trip.
It's going to be great. Well, guys, listen. There's our 20 minutes for today with our Thursday thoughts. We hope that helped. We hope we answered that question and maybe even some more. So again, next week, let's do a Q&A, live Q&A. Just tune in and you can ask any questions you want. We're an open book. We'll let you know our thoughts as always. And I'm going to close out the show and just give you a little taste of, we've been talking about it, Raptor Extreme Karate, right? Our part
Yes,
of our
sir.
upgrade program, our elite training program at our school for our weapons curriculum. We're working on commas this cycle. For
Awesome.
our demo team unit, we have a specific Raptor Extreme class open again to everybody in the elite training program. We'll be working on the extreme forms. We just Mr. Ha and I don't know, parents, if you know this, but we really work on our curriculum a lot. And we just took this one sheet, which used to have 4 quarters on it. This is now the fourth quarter of work. So we've really got this dialed in and nailed down. So it's going to be a great fourth quarter. can't wait to see what we bring to the mat in all of those classes. So if you have questions, please let us know. But here's the video, Raptor Extreme Karate, featuring none other than Master K and his students in his school. Here we go, guys.
See you guys.